All right, guys, went back today with a very interesting overview of the Savage stance, Savage's first handgun in a very long time. This one is a 9mm and it's a micro compact design. Comes with 2 mags in the box, one 7-round and one 8-round. And I want to give a huge shout out to American Pawn and Gun, located in Monroe, North Carolina, for donating this firearm to the channel for us to review. These guys are always supporting the channel and always swinging by there at American Pawn and Gun. They're right off 74, and I love digging through. In fact, we've done a lot of pawn shop find videos at American Pawn and Gun, so you'll want to check out those videos. They're pretty darn interesting. You can also follow them on all their social media platforms, and doing something special for my subscribers in March, so you won't want to miss those opportunities. So check those guys out on social media. The next thing I want to discuss about this handgun is the fact that it looks almost identical to the Smith & Wesson Shield in almost every single way. Now, there are some variations, some slide cuts, and some differences in the actual specs and features. One being the new Shield Plus has 10+1 rounds with the flush fit magazine, and this one has 7+1 rounds with the flush fit magazine. So why would Savage come into an oversaturated market with something that doesn't carry as many rounds as a lot of its competitors? The SIG P365 XL and the Shield Plus, as well as a few other versions, are carrying a lot more than 7, but Savage is doing some interesting things with this handgun that I think make it worth it in some circumstances. Now, the great thing about American Pawn and Gun is they don't care what I say. I'm going to review the gun as I review the gun, and I have no bias towards the Savage just because they sent it out to the channel for T&E. Now, you do get this nice hard case, a 7-round, 8-round mag in the box, and all your other little normal things like gun locks and stuff like that. Now, the cool thing about this handgun, when you pick it up, it is very ergonomic, but so is the Shield. It also has a completely ambidextrous set of controls, and that's where this gun shines incredibly well and beats out a lot of other competitors in its space, and that's why I'm going to talk about those first. Everything, including the mag release, is you don't need to swap it. It's just already on the other side. So for you lefties, this is going to be a great option. The safety works from both sides incredibly well. It's easy to flip off on both sides very well. And it also has the slide release or the slide stop located on both sides. So no issues there. In fact, it's probably one of the best ambidextrous handguns I've ever held. And it's very elegant in its design of its controls. So we are going to talk about the rest of the specs and features of this handgun and kind of compare it to the Shield a little bit more, especially since they are about the same price. What would make you select this over the Shield? Now, with the Shield, I've had 100% reliability. It's one of my personal carry guns, 10+1 rounds. The list goes on and on of why I love the Shield. But let's talk about some of the specs and features of the Savage. And Savage may win you over even though it's shy 3 rounds with a flush fit mag. The first thing I want to discuss is the grip and the grip texturing. The grip and grip texturing is very nice. It's ergonomic, it feels well, it's kind of like a rough sandpaper, but it's not overly rough. The back strap is also very nice and it contours to your hand. You can see the grip variations between the Shield and the Savage do not have that bump in the front. That's not that big of a deal one way or the other. Your hands fit in there nicely. It's got a slight undercut, so it fits well. And the trigger guard is extended in the front, allowing glove fingers to fit a little bit better than the Shield. It's not a ton different, but those are some variations when we're splitting hairs and why Savage may be thinking they compete with the Shield Plus. The other cool thing about this one is the safety is much easier to actuate. It's a lot more audible and tactile, and I love the way it feels, especially because it's ambidextrous. The safety on the Shield Plus is still very usable, but it's a small piece of bent sheet metal that's a little bit harder to actuate. Moving up, again, the slide release or slide stop works out very nicely. You can use it well, although I found in actual operation, this does not work as a slide release. It's just too difficult to use. Not because you can't get a hold of it, but because it's just very tough. That's the other thing I found about this mag release. The mag release itself is very hard to actuate. You can't reach it with your thumb. You have to break your grip. And even then, I'm pressing it and it's not coming out. You have to really break your grip, wrap around, and then you can get it to come out. Unlike the shield, you simply reach down, you only have to break your grip, and it comes right out, no issues. So right there for the mag change and the +3 rounds is why I'm already liking the Shield Plus a lot better for my personal situation, and I can overlook the safety or just not even use it. The other thing I want to talk about is the set of sights that comes on it. These sights are very high-vis sights, and one of my favorite set of sights that I've seen on a compact pistol like that. The other cool thing about this is it does have a lot of slide serrations for manipulation, but that's also a negative because you can use this, you're using this as a carry gun. You don't have an optic on the top, so you don't need to cut weight from the slide. Why are we doing this? Like, for looks? All this does is allow debris and junk from your pocket or inside the waistband to get into the action, to get underneath the barrel, to get into the springs. This is a problem. I only want slide cuts when they do something, whether it be you've got an optic cut, so you need to lighten the slide to allow for the optic, but you're not doing that. Or maybe it's a competition handgun and you want to lighten up the recoil impulse, but this is a carry gun. That's just, to me, that's a big downfall if you're going to be carrying this handgun for personal defense, is the ingress of debris inside here. Let's talk some more about the slide itself. It does have some nice slide cuts in the back. It tapers down at the top. The sights are pretty good. Like, overall, it's a decent slide. I've got no issues with that whatsoever. Let's make sure it's clear one more time, and we will take a look at the trigger. The trigger itself feels very nice. It's got a smooth take-up, very smooth and short take-up. It hits a defined wall, and it has a crisp break. The reset on this guy is long. There, finally. You don't really feel that reset. You just hear the reset. And under recoil with Ear Pro, that reset is just very, very long. Let's take a look at the shield. So you've got a smooth take-up as well, hits a defined wall, and you have a trigger safety and a flat face trigger on the new Shield Plus. It breaks. The trigger feels a little bit better on the Shield Plus than the Savage Stance. The reset is positive. You know when you hit the reset, it's a little bit shorter, followed up by a crisp break. So the trigger and reset is much better on the Shield Plus than the Savage Stance, although the trigger is very good on the Savage Stance. I'm not knocking the trigger at all there. Just something to consider. The trigger is not better than the Shield Plus, in my opinion, although I feel like it's a little bit better than the original Shield. In summary, the ergonomics are good. The slide is nice. I do not like the slide serrations. The trigger could be better, and you're still down 3 rounds. But now let's talk about reliability. This is where I want to give a huge shout out to Callaway Ballistics. Callaway Ballistics is always supporting the channel and sending out ammo for us to review guns with. And they just did dramatic price drops on a ton of different ammunition, so you can check those guys out. I also have the code 704TACTICAL for free shipping on Callaway Ballistics ammo orders over $200. So use that code to save yourself some money. The Savage Stance was 100% reliable down at the range. I did not have a single failure. It ran full metal jacket and hollow points just fine. So I feel like it's a reliable handgun. But for me, it's disqualified from carry just because of the slide serrations and because there's other options that are almost identical to this that hold more rounds, have better triggers, and just overall perform just as good. And that is the Smith & Wesson Shield Plus. One thing to note, though, if I was a lefty, this would be a great option. Like, I wish Savage would make this without the slides or the slide cuts. Even if I had to sacrifice a few rounds, the ease of reloads, the ease of manipulation, the ease of use for a lefty, this would be an absolutely great option for carry. It still may be a great option for you, like if you're keeping it in a holster and you're not worried about debris getting into the slide and the action. It may be a non-issue. I don't know. I haven't dropped debris down in here to see how much it would take. I haven't done a torture test on this gun. What I have done is taken it down to the range and give it a thorough evaluation, and if I'm choosing, I'm picking the Shield. But for you lefties, the Stance may be a great option, and I did get a lot of trigger time down at the range. It's accurate, it's reliable, it's ergonomic, and it works out great. So I really don't have any complaints about the handgun. I just like some handguns a little bit better. But for you lefties, this may be a winner. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.